So you wanted the most challenging and immersive experience for your playthrough of the Metro Redux games. So Ranger Survival Hardcore is clearly the mode for you. While this certainly makes for some exciting and memorable experiences, there is also some challenges when it comes to managing weapons and understanding how some stuff works, since Ranger Survival Hardcore does not give you the benefit of tutorials or in-game help, and Ranger Survival Hardcore does not give a crap about your feelings. So if you are new to this series or a returning veteran looking to go about it in this difficulty, then this guide is for you. Because this difficulty is the best way to experience the horrors of the Metro, and I'm glad you chose this mode for yourself. I love it and I'm sure you're gonna love it too, but before we dive in, there is a couple things we should know. First, we need to understand the major differences between this difficulty and all the others. So starting with the first and the easiest one to recognize is the complete absence of heads-up display. The HUD is disabled completely, save for laser pointers found on mid to late game weapons in 2033, or custom weapons in Last Light. Besides that, the only way you can check how much ammo you got left is by using the journal mechanic. So every time you need to check how much ammo, filters or grenades you got, you need to open up the journal. Besides that, there will be no extra help. And if you think you're running out of air and need to change your filter, you have to look at your watch. And please make the most out of them because filters are not easy to come by in this difficulty. Unless, of course, you play it right, and if you do, then you shouldn't have many problems. On top of that, both Artyom and his enemies are going to become glass cannons, so killing and dying is incredibly fast, up to the point of a one-shot, one-kill. And that makes stealth not only advised but pretty much the only way to pass certain missions, since the run and gun approach is severely limited by low ammunition supplies, which are much more scarce throughout the game. On top of that, you can only choose between two weapons, so you really have to think hard about what loadout you are bringing. Now let's get down to basics. The most common ammunition in the Metro is the 545x39 cartridge, which is used by many assault rifles from the Kalash to the Bastard and everything in between, and it comes in two varieties. The first one is dirty rounds, which are the default ammo used in most weapons found in the Metro. This kind of ammo is made by the survivors, and it's composed by whatever metal and scraps that they manage to turn into bullets. The second type is the military grade rounds, which functions primarily as currency in the game, but also can be used as ammo. But I would highly advise you not to do this and to save it as much as you can, since this ammo works as currency in the Metro. Throughout the game you'll get rewarded with some ammo, either by helping out people or by finding it in the wild, especially on ranger stashes. And this difficulty you will only get a fourth of what you usually get in the normal game. You really want to use this ammo in combat as a last resort, because as you will be reminded in game, you literally will be shooting money. Money that you will need to buy filters, medkits, upgrades for your armor, and even help out poor Metro citizens, as this will work towards your karma and ultimately in getting the good ending. But that's another video on itself. So make sure you are not shooting money, and you can see this by looking at the rounds. Blue tips means dirty rounds and red tips means military grade rounds. And that, my fellow rangers, is how you can avoid shooting money. But even the dirty rounds can be spared. Throughout your experience, you will find many situations where you got two choices. The first one is going to be loud and proud, and as you will quickly be reminded, it's not going to work. And I'm not saying this because the enemies are OP, which they are. I'm saying this because, as you will soon find out, generally after you go through a bandit camp or a Nazi outpost, what you will encounter is mutants, and for the most part you cannot stealth through mutant areas, you have to take them on. And if you wasted all your ammo and medkits fighting bad guys where you could have sneaked around, then you are going to die and you are going to take the long way back and reload another save. This makes for an incredible balance, as the game forces you to play as a human and not a killing machine. You have to be smart here, so the obvious choice is stealth. And for this, my friends, you are going to need a throwing knife, because the throwing knives are your best friends in Metro Redux. You only need one for the entire game, as you can pick them up from bodies. And sometimes you cannot sneak around, you have to kill the bad guys, but the knife will allow you to do it in almost complete silence. Now the punches are still quieter, but you need to get close and personal for those. So I would say stay away from silenced weapons and suppressors, since enemies close by will be able to hear the shots. Your main problem here is mutant combat. The mutants are incredibly strong, and one hit might require you to use 2 medkits, for which you can only carry 5 in total. A good loadout for this difficulty is one that you can easily kill mutants with, which generally is by using shotguns. Shotguns are going to be your favorite weapon and also the most used one. And there is a real progression here. The most basic shotgun, for example, is the duplet, and this works in the beginning, but you need to find better gear or you won't make it. Every time I play Metro, my strategy is something like this. I use the duplet until I get to the bandit station where Bourbon dies. On that station you are going to fight an improved duplet with 4 barrels, and by picking this up you will have an easier time defending yourself in the next mission, which is the Haunted Tunnels with Khan, because there is going to be a lot of mutants there. And this one will work just fine until you find a Shambler, but even the Shambler is not perfect, as the long reloads might eventually kill you in a ditch situation later on. So I recommend saving as much money as you can and get yourself a bicycle gun when you reach Polis. This is expensive, but it's much faster to reload than a Shambler, and from that moment onwards you will not need the money anymore, unless of course you run out of ammo. And if you can, use your friends as bait. In many situations, when the game forces you to get into combat, what I like doing is to stay away as much as possible and let my friends do the work. They will kill the mutants and you will be able to save ammo, which is going to be precious later on. So as you can see, the game gives you all the tools to success. You just need to find them and make the best out of them. And this is not easy sometimes, because looting is much harder. You have no HUD, so you have to know what boxes contain the items, what doors can be opened, and so on. And you have to know this by heart, as the game will not help you. And that's why I recommend playing the game at least once with the HUD on. Also, when looking for extra loot, sometimes it's better off to just keep going, especially if you're on the surface, because where you're on the surface, everything is harder. You have limited hair supplies, and the enemies are much fiercer here. So if you have a backpack full of filters and ammo, then don't waste your time looking around. Sometimes this can work against you, as you will waste precious air and in the end you might not find anything. Sometimes you're going to waste more ammo clearing an area while you are looking for ammo, because there is always a thin balance between risk and reward, and finding that balance is what makes you a true Spartan Ranger. If by some reason you just couldn't find filters and are running out of air, there are still some things you can do. By taking your mask off, you will notice that Artyom is going to start gasping. You can use this mechanic for your own good, by waiting for the 4th gasp and then putting the mask on again, only to take it off right after, is a good way to trick the game and keep you alive a bit longer, but I do not recommend it, as your vision will get blurry, making combat and looting much harder. Then again, this is a last ditch solution and should only be used in life or death situations. In conclusion, if you have never played in this difficulty, then I encourage you to choose it for your playthrough. It really adds something to the survival horror experience in terms of immersion, and adapts your playstyle with the absence of HUD. If you have already played through this series in an easier mode, then I hope you can still find some use from these few tips to give Ranger Hardcore a try. In the end though, there's a lot of ways on how you can go about this difficulty, so if I forgot something, help a fellow Ranger out and leave it down in the comments. If you liked the video and you want to see more like this, consider subscribing and leaving a comment, as this helps out the channel the most. But until the next time, have a good one, and I will see you all on the next one. CUSTERPLAYS signing out.